And hello fellow takers, Space Bandit here with another episode of World of Tanks, and today we are going to take out FCM 50T Tier 8 French heavy tank. Although it plays like a medium. Plays like a medium tank, guys, but it is heavy, preferential heavy. And what's fantastic about this tank, look at the penetration. 212 on standard shells, 259 on premium. As far as equipment goes, I'm running optics, advanced loader, and gun stabilizer on this tank. Initially I didn't run gun stabilizer, but you need it, trust me. It could be because my commander is not very skilled. As you notice here, I only have 5 skills on this commander. I'm actually ready to get 6th skill, but these are 5 essential skills that you need for this tank initially, which is Born Leader, 6th Sense, Rapid Loading, Run and Gun, and Steady Aim. And as a 6th skill, I'm gonna put on optics. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do, because you want to extend that view range as much as possible in this tank. This tank is big, so there's no point training camo on the commander. It's probably better to put optics and extend that view range. And remember, guys, every time you have a big tank and camo values are shit, do not try to camo it. It's not gonna help it a lot. Try to increase the view range, and that's definitely gonna help you. So that's what we did in this tank. So we were initially at 477 meters. Let's see where we are at now. We are at 512 meters of view range, which is fantastic. So you can pretty much max out your view range because you're gonna be spotted most of the time anyway. Okay, so now that you see my setup of this tank, obviously I'm training new commanders, so this tank is definitely not maxed out. But one thing I gotta tell you, this tank is actually not bad at all. It is a preferential tank, which means it plays only to tier 9. And with the penetration that you have, especially on premium rounds, which is 259 millimeters at tier 9, you will do your damage. You might not have the armor that some of the other preferential premiums have at tier 8, for instance like an IS-6 or Chinese heavy 112. But you have to pick and choose. What do you prefer? Do you prefer armor or do you prefer gun and penetration? Because obviously the other two tanks don't have that. Another tank that comes to mind is tier 8 American heavy tank, the Mutant. I guess Mutant is another valid option. It's a decent tank as well. But again, Mutant's penetration is still not going to be as good as FCM 50T's. So it depends what you prefer. I personally prefer better gun and prefer the penetration. And this tank can still bounce shots. Don't get me wrong. If you run into some tier 9s that have good guns, and a lot of tanks at tier 9 have really good guns, they will pen you. There's no question about it. You will get penned. But one thing you have in this tank is extremely wide tracks. So if they're going to try to shoot your drive wheel, for instance, or if they try to pen you through the tracks, it's going to be extremely difficult for the opposition to pen you through there. So if they make that mistake, like you saw me kind of angle in a clip before the video, where you show your tracks and you bait the opposition to shoot your tracks, they're gonna have a hard time penning those tracks. Now if they shoot you in a turret or top plate, obviously they'll penetrate it like butter. So keep that in mind. Now this tank should be played more like a medium tank instead of heavy. Don't play it as a heavy. If you go in a brawling area with the heavies, you're definitely gonna die. So don't try doing that. But if you go into areas where you can support your mediums, or mediums can support you, man, you're gonna wreak some havoc with this gun. Now, I would prefer if this gun had a little bit higher alpha. I think this gun has average alpha of 240, which is not the greatest. Look at that bounce on a light tank. How is that even possible? But anyway, I would prefer if that alpha was increased slightly to 250, maybe 260. But because this thing low rolls a lot, and you're gonna see this in this game, I low roll quite a lot in this game. It's way below average. If I were to average my damage or alpha in this game, I would definitely fall below 240. So that's quite unfortunate. But the game I'm showing you today, that was pretty much a feast. I was a top tier in this matchup, and we ended up pushing the west side of the map with our mediums. And we're just gonna push the pace of this battle. And we're gonna just put shell after shell after shell into these tanks. my gun is not gonna stop firing at all. As you notice here, this IS-3, he's gonna have no chance. Because he's not really paying attention to me. He's paying attention to friendlies. And I'm using my rate of fire just to shred him to pieces. 5.1 second reload. That's absolutely spectacular on this tank. So anyway, we're just gonna push the battle here. And we're gonna move forward as far as possible here. Now, because I'm a top tier, I don't mind going in first right here, taking some hits, using my HP right now. But I noticed that this Tiger P is actually penetrating me. So I decided to fall back. I don't want to trade. I want to be able to maintain some of my HP. So we're going to try to shoot his cupola right now. And we're going to hide behind the ridgeline. But now he's not looking at us. So we're going to charge him right here. And we should be able to take him out of the game. And we do. As you notice here, I switched to APCR rounds. You saw the behavior of AP rounds early in the game. They're kind of derpy. They don't fly through most often than not. So I do prefer APCR rounds on this tank. But in this situation, I was actually going for damage. I noticed that I was already sitting at over 3,000 damage. And I was like, you know what? I want to make sure I pen every shot. I want to see how far I can push this tank. I want to see if I can actually get to 5k damage. Getting to 5k damage with a 240 alpha gun is a really good result. So that's what we're going to try to do here. So we're going to push the pace still. And I know I have that Minuteman on my left-hand side, so we're going to put a shell into his turret. But at the same time, I'm paying attention to this SU-130 PM because last thing I want is take a hit from him. So we're going to put a shell into him. And now we're going to take care of the Minuteman. So we want to be first to the fight. We want that damage. So I'm going to try to shoot his drive wheel. I was trying to track him there, but for whatever reason, that shell does not come off. It goes a little bit to the left. We should be able to do that now, and we do. And now we're going to angle so that he shoots our track, our thick tracks. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to bait the opposition to shooting your thick tracks on this tank. So we were able to bounce one shell. This, I don't know how that didn't go in, but it doesn't matter. We're going to charge him here, and we should be able to finish him off. And we do. And just like that, we're over 5,000 damage. Just like that, pushing the pace, we ended up having really spectacular game. But there are still two tanks in play. And at this point, I was hoping that my team is not going to cap. I can see the medium tank going into cap. And I was just like, please, let me get that additional damage. Maybe we can push the damage close to 6k. That's what I was thinking. That guy is pretty full health still, too. So we're going to try to push the pace. But look at the mobility of this tank. And that's where this thing is great. Getting to positions you want quite fast. And power to weight ratio is really good on this thing. Let's see if we can hit this guy on a move. Yes, we can. We low roll like a biatch at the same time. Because why not? 219? Really? Regardless. So we're going to keep pushing the pace. Now, I was worried that the heavy tank that went in here, he was going to cap. So I was going into the cap over here, but it turned out that he completely took a different direction, went with his light tank. And now I don't know what's spotting me. I know that light tank is spotting me from somewhere, but I didn't know where he was. So there he was. Unfortunately, we won't be able to shut him down, I don't think, because our light tank is going to engage him. We're going to try the quick auto-aim shot, but that does not come off. So now my only hope to get more damage is to find that Tier 8 tank. There it is, VZ44. And he still got 780 HP. Well, not anymore. But can we put any shells into him? Let's hope we can. Yes, we do. We put one shell. And here I was hoping I can finish him off, but he gets finished off before I can fire my gun again. So there we go, boys and girls. FCM 50T, one of the original premium tanks in the game. So we finished with 5 kills, 5.6k damage, 2265 base XP. Quite awesome game, if you ask me. We also had 1077 assisted damage, as well as some block damage, which you will find this thing can occasionally block a shot or two, especially from lower tiers. Anyway, we finished with Mastery Ace Tanker, all kinds of medals and ribbons here, Confederate medal as well. And what is that, steel wall? You gotta be kidding me. We got steel wall in FCM 50T. This is quite unexpected. Anyway, would I recommend this tank, guys? I think I would, because of the fact that the gun is fantastic on it, especially shooting APCR rounds with that penetration and the fact that you're getting preferential matchmaking, I think it is worth it. You just have to play it like a medium tank without much armor. That's pretty much it. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. That's it for now. Until next time, happy tanking, Space Bandit, check it out.